And note to myself, it's a song that talks about sobriety, but it's not like just a sobriety song. It's about when we make mistakes in our past and we dwell on the past and we dwell on what we did, and we are not forgiving ourselves and we're just not moving on. There's hope in forgiving ourselves and coming out of your demons and coming out of like what you've been through. For me, my battle in life was addiction. And at a very young age, I started to use to forget and to not feel. And when I was 20 years old, I decided to take that sober road. And when I got sober, I knew that I had things that I had done in my past that weren't so nice, that weren't so good. And at first I was really horrified and sad about it. And then I seek some help to figure out like how to forgive what I've done and be proud of myself, because it's a big achievement to be sober and to stop using, because for me, alcohol and drugs were the solution to my problems and my pain and my trauma and my PTSD and everything. So I turned to alcohol to numb the pain. And once I got the bottle away, I still had to heal myself and to go into my castle that I call, and swipe all the spider webs and go to the darkest caves where I kept some emotions and some feelings and just clean everything out so I can live. The event that brought me to realize that I couldn't live like this anymore was when my younger brother told me he didn't want to see me ever again if I kept using. He actually saved my life. And I will always be thankful for him, because it was really hard for him to do that. But he proved me how much he loved me. And so when I got sober, I was really proud. Like I had like a month sober and I was trying to call him. And he would be, call me back when you have 5 months. And then I got 5 months. And then he was like, call me back when you have 9 months. And then I had 9 months. And then he's like, call me back when you have a year. And then I had my year. And then he started talking to me again. And this was a gift, because I was losing everything and everyone. You're always thinking that you're doing the damage to yourself. You're damaging yourself. You're sabotaging yourself. You don't see, I didn't see the pain that I was putting through my family and my siblings. It was really hard for them, and they got the chance to share it with me into letters that were addressed to me when I was taking care of myself in a treatment center. And so I had the privilege to read them, and it put me through so much pain. So much pain to know how much pain I put them through. Because as I said, when you use, you think that you're only hurting yourself, but you're not. And this song is about hope for people that maybe lost it. It's never too late. I was very lucky and very privileged to go into a treatment center, because not everybody can go to a treatment center, and I made it my mission that if I got sober and I was successful, I was going to help everyone that cannot have access to a treatment center by helping them and supporting them. My experience was today, after 14 years, I can say that my experience was the best experience I could ever have in my life, because it brought me to become humble and grateful for what I have. It brought me to understand that addiction is a disease, and it's not something you can just control. And it helped me tremendously, because in this treatment center, I met a woman that helped me to build this person that I am today. It was really hard. The first week that I got in there, she brought me into her office and she said, I'm going to ban all of your makeup and we're going to cut your hair extensions. Because when I got there, I had hair extensions, I had full makeup, like if I was going to like a vacation, I didn't know where I was going. And she had scissors and she's like, give me your makeup and give me your, we're going to cut your extensions. And I said, no, you're not going to cut everything I tried to hide and everything I tried to be, and she took a mirror and she said, as of now, I want you to see yourself in the mirror for who you are, for your heart. I still talk to her. She's still in my life. She will always be in my life. She's my therapist and I love her. I talk to her very often, and she helped me tremendously over the years with so much adventure and experiences that I've been through to get to where I am today. So she knows, but I'm so thankful for her, and I'm so grateful that she was in our life. Right now, after the pandemic, it's been crazier because a lot of people are struggling with mental health, and they're struggling with a lot. And to get help when you know where the help is easier. I have a lot of people that come to me for help when they try to get sober, or they start asking me questions about how I got sober and what they should do and this and that. And I always tell them, when you're ready, call me and I'll help you. And there's been quite a few people that actually remain sober and have a good life today that I cross paths with. And yeah, it's hard to get help, especially now after the pandemic. Like the whole world, it's just crazy right now, and treatment centers are full, and like it's so. What I always say, it's harder to get help. The most important thing is to talk to somebody that you trust. Seek the help that you need. Don't let yourself be alone and dwell with everything that you're suffering with. Talk to someone. I think that we should invest more money in mental health, in crisis struggling, in youth, in hospitals, in all the first line workers, the doctors, the schools. We need to invest money in the people and in the places that help other people. If we don't do that, it's not going to change. And back in the day, Tupac was talking about this. I don't know if you heard the song Changes. We need to start feeding the poor. We need to stop. We need to find another way to treat each other. He was talking about this. And we're still in that same movement of we need to be a community and to care for one another, even if we don't know each other. That's what I think. But that's just my opinion. When you decide that you're taking a healing path, you start not to care about how people think you are or what they think of you or what they say about you. And, like there's a saying that I always remind myself of is that that you're not that important. So even if people talk about you, like, or you're paranoid that people will talk about your stuff or gossip about, I have no control over this. I have zero fucking control. And at first I was driving myself sick because some people would pretend they knew my life or they knew what I've been through and were talking about my stuff. And I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Talk about it if it makes you feel happy, But me, the healing path that I chose is making me strong enough to know that what I tell people, like in a room, I have zero control of what they say in that room when I left. And my circle of friends is people that I trust and that I know they're true to me. And for the rest, I can't control. And if people go through stuff and they don't want to talk about it because they think it's taboo and everything, well, it's not taboo because let's be honest here. Everybody in their life will go through some sort of problems, issues, trauma, life experience that, like we're all the same at different stages of our life. We will have obstacles. So to me, somebody that tells me nothing ever happens to me, I think it's a little phony, and that's not the type of people that I surround myself with, because I surround myself with survivors and fighters that know that life is real. It started really young where I remember I would go to my room and I would just listen to Celine Dion, like on my little stereo. And at some point he bought me a CD player because I guess he was tired of me listening to Celine Dion like every day, all day. And I remember I would just get lost in the music, and I would listen to Whitney Houston, and I would listen to Etta James and all of these great names in the music, Nina Simone. And I would just listen to what they said, even though I didn't understand quite the lyrics because I was so young. And I remember getting lost in like the hope and the pain and the music. And I just kept on listening to music through all of my childhood. My parents were listening to a lot of music, Motown, a lot of various artists. And then when I was a teenager, that's when the music got even more important in my life, where I needed to listen to music to actually feel good. And I always had like a vibe for what I was feeling, And when I got sober, for example, like Eminem had just dropped Recovery, and I used to listen to that like on a loop, being not afraid to take a step. Everybody come take my hand. It was just like beautiful, So yeah, music has saved my life. There's so many artists that help me get through. Like I can't even name because there's so many, and there's different albums at different times of my life that I listen to on loop. I can go from listening to like country music to really like hardcore rap to like Linkin Park to sounds of a sounds of a downs
System of a Down.
System of a Down to like Katy Perry to, it depends on how I feel, because every song, when I listen to the lyrics, it's about what they say and what I'm feeling at that moment. I listen to what they say. Yeah, there's things I wish I would have said to my like 7-year-old self. Like I tell my daughter when she's crying or she's having like a little something, I always tell her, "You're safe. I'm here. It's okay." It was really hard to record that song because when I recorded that song, I was going through a very hard time in my life. It was in the pandemic, and I was isolated, and I had like family members that were getting sick. I was also very unwell, and I felt so powerless because like all the organizations and everything that was like helping communities like shut down. And I remember I was like not feeling well with the fact that I couldn't control even what I could control, and I relapsed. I started drinking after 10 years of sobriety, and it was horrible because as I was recording that song that made me um that was talking about me having a sober life, I was like, I want to get to that sober life, but I don't even know if I'm going to be able to. And as I recorded and worked on this song, it really helped me to get back to where I wanted to be. And today I'm grateful that in that timing that happened in my life, because I know that sobriety is the way, is the right way for me. And I'm proud that I got it. Didn't last long, and I could get back on my path and continue my sober path and my sobriety. I'm telling myself, because in that song it says, be nice to yourself. You don't have to feel bad for every time you go in over your head, and look at all that you've built, and I remember telling myself this and feeling so bad because I drank, you know and that song kept me going with my sobriety and the path that I wanted to be on, as I was the one suffering. So sometimes in life, well, no, not sometimes in life, everything happens for a reason. There are no coincidences. And I know that for a fact. With that song, my ultimate goal is for people that are suffering with addiction and many other things, mental health, heart situation, um, any kind of situation where they don't have, um, they don't know where their life is going. I wish that it brings a lot of hope, and that you people remember that even though you're going through hard things, it does not label you. It does not make you the situation. And I hope people find hope and strength to carry on and to find solutions for their lives.